Hello and welcome to our very first podcast presented by the Independent Film Society of Colorado, better known as IFSOC. I am your host for today, Ralph Giordano, and I'm the program director for the Indie Spirit Film Festival, which we're going to be talking about in just a second. But I want to introduce Carlo Maldonado, who is our festival director for Indie Spirit, and I want to also introduce Megan MacGrath, who is our events coordinator. Both Carlo and Megan are also on the board of directors for the Independent Film Society, which is a nonprofit organization that was created in 2008. So we're in our 15th year at the recording of this podcast. So that's a long stretch. But originally it was created because of wanting to do a film festival, which was Indie Spirit. And we had a successful 7-year run and then went on a hiatus until just now. So this is actually the first live Indie Spirit that we're doing. So it's kind of our comeback.
Yes, the second.
Yeah, so tell us about the virtual event that we did in 2021.
So, in 2021, we had already been planning a return of the film festival, which ran from 2008 to 2014, I think.
Yeah.
And just because a few changes in management, and Jim Turner, who founded it, needed to step away. While the film society continued, the film festival took a little break to sort of regroup, and we had already been planning on coming back in 2021 before, or it's actually 2020.
It was 2020, and a little pandemic happened.
Yeah, little pandemic happened. So we tried our hand at the virtual, and it was a good festival. We had a lot of great films.
I think we had fabulous films.
Right. I think at the time it served at least a need to see some independent films to our audiences, virtual audiences, but the whole time knowing full well we were coming back in person, it's just not the same thing.
And I think also, too, so many other festivals they kind of went dark.
Yeah.
But then what saved them was doing virtual events. So I think that kind of, so it wasn't like a step back for us, but it probably wasn't the right time to relaunch.
Sure.
And so this is officially our relaunch.
Yeah. This is really the return, what we were calling the return of the spirit into Colorado Springs. And I believe personally every community should be represented with an independent society, with film festivals, right? It just independent voices bring so much more to the conversation for storytelling than the large, Hollywood-driven films. Not that there's anything against those. It's just this is really where the culture and society really get to debate ideas and to express their thoughts and to go back, have that conversation back and forth, right?
And I also think that the importance of having a live event over the virtual event is that there's communication.
Yeah.
I mean, you get to meet filmmakers, you get to talk to filmmakers, you get to hear them live during a Q&A. What I love most about film festivals is just seeing after the film screening, and then you see people kind of networking and getting together and talking about their work. And speaking about networking, Megan is also on our board of directors for Peak Film Forum, which is our networking group that we have here. And there's so much going on. And really our mission is just to try to get at least the local filmmakers involved into filmmaking. And I think we've succeeded in that.
Yeah, I think we have. This year we've actually seen a lot more people coming out, which is great. The last couple of years have been difficult, and we weren't doing it every month. And so it's really great that they're coming back out and showing their face and supporting the community and the films that are showing.
I think what's neat about when we do Peak Film Forum, it's really the first time sometimes filmmakers will present their films in front of an audience. So it's not necessarily a film festival where it's pre-screened and then it's judged. So it's a little bit different than what we do at the film festival. So maybe explain a little bit about what a film festival is and what the process is.
If people haven't been involved in film festivals before, or either as an audience or as a filmmaker, right, it's really just a way to, there's different kinds of film festivals, right? There's some that are industry drivers, right, like Tribeca and Sundance and Toronto Film Festival. And then there's the I wouldn't say lower, but there's the smaller, right, more niche film festivals. Ours is actually kind of generic in the sense it's similar to like a Sundance where we take all sorts of different categories and things like that. But then there's also really niche ones specifically for horror.
Correct.
Specifically for, I mean, you name it. There's Heartland for Christian films and things like that. So anyway, but yeah, it's really just a place for filmmakers, independent filmmakers, to submit their films. There's usually a programming team that makes selections and then puts it on for audiences. Right. And so you get this great concept of people making films, right, as the industry has continued to become easier to get into, right? The technology's gotten cheaper. People have gotten more interested in doing it. They don't need a Hollywood crew and team to make a film, right? That has brought out more voices and more ideas and more thoughts and more. And so anyway, all those places, it's great to have a place to show them and to see an audience respond to it and take it in and have opinions, right? Good and bad. And so anyway, that's what we're really trying to create. It's a culture thing. It's an empathy thing of understanding people from all walks of life. And so anyway, I think they're vital to all communities.
Yes. Let's zero back in on Indie Spirit. Sure. I think there's our poster. You did a recent interview, and one of the hosts on the media show that you were on was surprised that we were an international film festival. And we are. Let's talk about the international aspect of our film festival, because we have quite a few international films this year. So let's do a little rundown of just the specifics of, how many features do we have and how many documentaries, or, it's kind of an overview, shorts, kind of explain a little bit about that. And then I think it's really exciting to talk a little bit about some of the international films that we have this year.
Yeah, we have. It's always been, at least that I'm aware of, International Film Festival. It has. Which, again, it opens up even more, right? The different ideas that are happening globally.
Different cultures.
And culturally. So we've always brought in those submissions. And I've seen some wonderful, back when the festival was running through 2014, I saw some wonderful international films and had international filmmakers come here. Like the Walendas, the tightrope walking family, and all sorts of interesting folks that would come from all over. But this year we actually got quite a few international submissions. We have one film, sort of romantic comedy from the UK. We have a really good sort of day-in-the-life narrative called Black Moon from Mexico. And we have a German film that's also about it's more of a romantic drama, but yeah, there's bringing in all these external voices, right, just into your community just exposes even more how we're all really the same. We all really kind of struggle with the same things. We all laugh at the same things. It's just a slight difference in culture and language.
Mm-hmm. Megan, you've been with the organization for a while now.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about your experiences and just kind of connecting with the film community, because you are very, very connected with the film community. You're a producer yourself. And I think it's kind of neat when we see some of our friends and our filmmakers be part of the organization, be part of the festival. So just kind of give me an overview of your perspective of what we do.
Yeah, definitely. It's just been definitely an honor to be a part of the board of the Independent Film Society of Colorado, as well as Peak Film Forum. I've been a part of Peak Film Forum for a very long time. It's kind of funny going back to when the Indie Spirit Film Festival started back in 2008. Actually, a film that I worked on was the winner that year. So that's really cool to kind of come full circle in that, to where I can be here on this side as well and just see all of the wonderful things that are happening. Just bringing, like you said, bringing people together is just so important, and seeing different perspectives. For me, that is something that I really kind of uphold in my life, just as a general value, I think, is just seeing different perspectives. So I really have enjoyed that, and just being a part of Peak Film Forum, where we have our local people who just come together and they meet people there and we work on things. And I know that's happened for me as well. being at Peakville Forum. So, it's just been really amazing to see that, and just being able to see all the different types of people, especially at our venues where we hold the festivals. We have different people that are coming in just to the venue itself, and then they get involved and they see like, oh, there's a film festival going on. Let's get involved and let's go see a movie, and just to have that a part of it.
Let's deconstruct the festival. So it's July 7th, 8th, and 9th, and it's in Colorado Springs at 2 venues. It's in the Ivywild part of town, and we're at Ivywild School, and we're at the Malibu Art Theater, better known as the MAT. So let's go through Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and let's just talk about what we have in store.
Sure. So Friday, we start off with short blocks, sectioned. The way we got submissions this year, we decided, and it's something I saw at another festival as well, of sort of giving a mix of each of the short blocks.
So they're basically comedies or dramas mixed in together.
Right. Instead of saying
shorts.
comedy, just comedy, or just horror, or just
and
we
then
sort
there's
of
a
blended them
separate-
all together. But we did sort of break it up between the type of storytelling, right? So there's documentary type storytelling, but it's a mixture of different types of stories and types of documentaries, and the narratives are a mixture of different types of genres.
And what constitutes a short? Like, how long is a short? I know the answer to that, but I'm asking you.
Typically anything under 40 minutes. We tend to pick even, shorter than that.
I think in our
to
rules
make a
this year, we
program
said
work.
25 minutes or less for this festival.
Yeah. Anything, you're trying to build as a programmer, more on the back end side, the behind the scenes side of making a festival work. You're trying to create a block, right, of films that gives enough variety and enough different choices for the shorts, the people that like to watch short films.
And I think we've done that this year.
Anywhere from 5 to 15.
Yeah. And I think it was interesting, too, that this year, as far as in the shorts category, which is what I specifically programmed, was that we had more dramas than comedies. But I think we have some really interesting short documentaries that we have. And I think we also, in our shorts category, we also have a young filmmaker category. And these are filmmakers that are either their first-time films, or they're in school, or they're between the ages of like 18 and 25, I think we listed it as. So they're just starting out. So I like that we've given them this opportunity to showcase their work.
So Friday, we kind of kick off at the MAT with a short block.
Okay.
And then Ivywild will have a feature called This Man's Worth. Well, it's really like 2 long shorts. This Man's Worth and Still We Rise. And then we have a VIP meet and greet. So if you want to be involved in any of the VIP sessions where you can meet other filmmakers, and you can also have some food and some drinks. The VIP pass is only $125 for the whole festival.
And then the individual block passes are how much?
I believe 25, right?
No, it's 15.
I'm sorry.
I was testing you.
See? And I failed.
I was testing you.
$15 per block.
Which is very, very affordable, I think.
Right, which is like $15 a film.
Yeah.
Which is
so when you think about it,
pay at a
and I think that the best route to go would be the festival pass, the VIP.
Yeah.
And then you could be part of the VIP event on Friday night.
Yeah. And then Friday night after the VIP party, there's going to be our opening night feature film is called Sam Now. It's a documentary, award-winning documentary.
It is, and I've seen that film, and it's excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very heartfelt, and it's very interesting. I don't want to give anything away, but it deals with finding your roots in your family. Yeah, if I can say that. And it's a very personal story of a young man trying to locate a parent. So we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Saturday, we start earlier, 9:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
At both the MAT and Ivywild, and we run through 7 o'clock at night.
And I think it's interesting, too, how we've situated. So a lot of the features are at Ivywild, the feature blocks, and all the short blocks are over at the Malibu Art Theater, with some exceptions. I think we have 2 features there, too.
Right.
So really, you have to decide how you're going to guide yourself through this festival.
Sure.
So can we take a moment now, because you have something on our website called How to Fest, which is how to do a festival. So maybe kind of guide us through a little bit of that, and then Megan, you might want to chime in there because you've been to festivals, and you've been to festivals as a filmmaker attending it.
Yeah, it's been great.
So go ahead and just kind of chime in a little bit there.
I mean, really, the sort of the core idea is, if you're coming in from international, we have some information there. about Colorado Springs and some hotels that we've partnered with for some discounts. But then really it's just looking at the schedule. If you go to ifsoc.org, ifsoc.org, and you go to Indie Spirit, you'll see the links to go to the Eventive site, which has both the schedule and where to purchase. And then you can take a look there on, some people really love shorts and want to stay for short block after short block after short block. And then some people want to get a mixture of both, right, depending on what film the feature film is. And so we've tried to create it to where you can catch some shorts and some feature blocks if you want to go back and forth. And really just kind of paying attention to the time, right? I attend Sundance every year, and it really becomes sort of like a big planning session to sit and pick your favorites and pick what you want to try and get to. Although there, you have to hold your choices a little loosely because you still might not get in, depending on what you picked. But anyway, for us, you're pretty much going to get in. Yeah. We don't see that problem.
Yeah. So before we continue with the rest of the schedule,
sure.
Just in the past of being a part of our festivals, Megan, and then also being an attendee at other festivals, how do you think we rate?
Just put me on the spot. No, I think actually we do really well with it. Just the way that we are able to block them, all the films in the sections. And, a lot of times we do have some where, okay, this is a complete genre that you can choose to go to. What I think is really cool is that this year we're really doing 2 separate venues for that, which, yes, you do have to choose. And that gets very difficult because you want to see all of them, but you can't. So,
and even if you were at Sundance, you can't see all the films.
Right?
No. Not even close.
So we want to make sure that people know that.
Yeah. And I think that we do it well with just being able to give the variety, because not everybody's going to like the same thing. And that's that's a part of it, is that not everybody likes the same thing. So they have the option to choose.
We have the choices.
Yeah. And each film has like a description in the Eventive site where you can click on, before you purchase tickets, you can click on a film.
We're going to talk about that too.
Sure. You can dig deep into that and kind of mark it off as something you're wanting to see.
So let's finish up Saturday.
Sure. We have, again, mixture at the mat, mostly shorts, blocks. And then we have some, and then Ivy Well will continue with the features. I can list them all if you want.
No, we don't have to go through it. So I want them to go to the website.
Right. We have a special screening of one called Two Lives in Pittsburgh. It's our LGBTQ plus film. And we're hoping to have some representation here in town.
Yeah, we will.
As well for the filmmaker. We'll be in town. Also for
That's
Q&A.
Exciting. That'll be great.
And then Sunday night, like our last Saturday night. I'm sorry, is also LGBTQ film, but it's called Tummy Ache from the UK.
Yeah.
The filmmakers might be here. I have to remember.
We're hoping.
Let me know if they actually can or not. Yeah. But anyway, another great film that deals with the young scene in England, in London.
I think what's neat, because you just mentioned maybe these filmmakers from another country might be coming in, is Colorado Springs is hosting all these guests.
Yes.
So I think that's a neat thing for us to have at this point.
Definitely.
It's been a couple of tough years. Yeah. So it's good that people see the positive side of what we have to offer in our town and in the arts community as well. Now, we haven't really planned anything for afterwards on Saturday, but what's interesting is because we're at Ivy Wild, there's restaurants there and there's pubs there, so people can hang out, and there's plenty of opportunity for people to have side meetings with people. And I think what's also we'll have for our filmmakers and our VIP ticket holders is we have a VIP room that's at the Millaboo Art Theater, so they can kind of hang out and just kind of talk to one another, or maybe have a meeting or something. So I think that's another opportunity too.
Yeah, and another great thing about being at Ivy Wild, like you said, there's great restaurants, great places for both beer and drinks. Yeah, and you can bring it all into the theater. So Correct. It's kind of like one of those theaters where you can have real food, not just popcorn. Yeah. Although we'll have popcorn.
So let's look at our final day, Sunday. What do we have in store?
And so Sunday we'll have a filmmaker panel in the morning. We're really excited about that. Yeah. If you want to, you put it together. So if you want to tell us about
it. Yes, I'll tease it a little bit because I'm still putting everything together. And Megan's going to be a part of that. So we'll have at least 6 or 7 guests who are all major players in the film community here in Colorado Springs, which is really, really exciting. So we'll have representatives from the various film schools here in town. We'll have representatives from the Youth Documentary Academy, which is another organization here in town. We'll have representation from Rocky Mountain Women's Film, which is another major film festival that we have here in town. We'll have filmmakers. I'm looking at another representation, hopefully from PBS. So it's going to be really an interesting discussion, and our topic is going to be the future of independent filmmaking post-pandemic.
Yeah.
And one thing specifically is that everybody who's part of this panel worked all through pandemic. We all did something. So it's not even like, okay, nothing happened and then we're back. So that's how we're addressing that. And then what's the future? We have a gentleman who's very into distribution aspect of things, so we can talk about that and what streaming media has to offer. So I think it's going to be quite an interesting. We've allotted an hour, but we could go longer and have a feeling we might. So we kick off Sunday with that wonderful event.
Yeah.
And that's at Ivy Wild.
Yeah. Exactly. And then we go back to, showing films at both venues. Yeah. And then we will have an awards ceremony at 7.
Right.
Where we will, we'll get to celebrate the best films of the festival.
I think we have 6 awards that we're giving out this year.
Yeah. And then...
That's amazing.
Yeah. And then one thing I've seen at several festivals that I wanted to bring back was like an actual after party with dancing. Right, everybody's been there, been anxious, waiting to hear who's going to win, or been enjoying films, and then it's just kind of like a nice letdown party of let's just all relax and hang out and dance, and again, Ivy Wild's a great place for that because there's great options for drinks all over.
And I know it's our opportunity. We always like to have our Carol Burnett moment. Remember when Carol Burnett used to have her show, and she used to have everybody sign her fan book? People going, who the heck is Carol Burnett? But anyway, we always have a poster that we have all the filmmakers sign. So that's another opportunity that we get everybody together to sign our poster. Yeah. It's our little memento of the event.
But I think it's extra special too, because if you have people coming in from the international countries, that they can come and enjoy that too. It's something else for them to enjoy with the festival.
Yeah.
So let's do a sum up. So to find out more information about Independent Film Society and the festival, go to our website.
Yep, ifsoc.org, ifsoc.org.
Then for tickets, they need to go to, and I have it here on my iPhone, it's going to be ISFF, which is Indie Spirit Film Festival, .eventive.org. And the full schedule is there with not only the list of films, but the description of the films and who the filmmakers were, and all the events that you can buy your tickets there, which is our main thing. So you could buy individual blocks, or you can get your VIP passes there. Pass, so
you can also get those at the ticket table as well.
Before we totally wrap up, because I'm trying to cram so much into this podcast. Let's talk about tickets, because you're going to be running our box office, and also the opportunities that we might have for some volunteers to help us out.
Yeah, definitely. We have plenty of opportunities, some nice perks. Just one of the things I'll mention is the fact that you can see films. You can come and see films, whether it's during your block or being able to stay after your shift is over and coming and enjoying those films. You'll get some swag, and we just have some different opportunities, whether it's just, ushering some people to their seats and doing tickets, selling merch, just those kinds of things.
And we have fun merch too.
Yeah, no, we do. We definitely do. So I think that that's really helpful. So if you'd like to volunteer, definitely check out the site, IFSOC. Oh my gosh. IFSOC.org.
MOUSE.
Yeah, I know.
And,
more people don't know what that heck that is.
Another note too, if we are still looking for sponsors.
Yep.
So if you're interested in featuring your business or film or anything that you want to see in front of, honestly, captive audiences, right? Like, it's the best place to advertise because they're not busy looking at their phones, and they're not walking around outside being distracted by something else. They captive audiences see your logos and understand that you care about independent voices and independent filmmaking, and that you're supporting us. So,
great.
Please contact us. Again, there's also at ifsoc.org. Just go to the menu, there's sponsorship tab, and learn more, and get in contact with us.
Everything's there.
Yeah. Yes.
I want to thank you, Megan MacGrath. I want to thank you, Carlo Maldonado. And I also want to thank Studio 809 Podcasts for your technical expertise and allowing us to produce our podcasts here in the studio. Thank you so much, Dave Gardner.
Thank you.
We have more in the second part of this show. We'll be talking to some filmmakers, and please stay tuned for that.